Yeah, so which one is actually the best? They're even the best bait fish? Bait fish for the Tunguska. And I'm testing right now. So different bait fish should also attract different fish. That's obvious. Fish have different preferences. And accordingly, I've just been trying a little. And well, by now I have the fourth kind of bait fish on here. And just testing how this bait fish type works. We'll also take a look into the cache to see what the whole thing looks like. And so far, I think it's confirming that only perches are biting on the bait fish. So really, completely, only perches. And we'll just look at it based on the cache picture, because that is of course meaningful. So these were now just the last perches. We see here this little pause. So that was now once a short break, or here now just another short break, but also already Siberian gudgeon, and actually entirely, so perch, Siberian gudgeon, at least currently the A&O, nothing else so far. I only bought 10 of these bait fish at first, and I'm testing with that right now. And yeah, still, and that's it. That was the 10th Siberian gudgeon, so 10 fish, 10 pieces tested, and really completely only perch. And the next perch, and here there's still nothing on it, that's the last gudgeon. So, gudgeon, you can really say Siberian gudgeon for me, absolutely not worth it. And even the perch trophy went on a different bait fish, namely on the Siberian roach. Not bad, 1.9 kilos. That's already a decent perch, right? Just said gudgeon trophy. No, the perch trophy, exactly. So that's of course really, really big. And if we sort by weight here real quick, the biggest fish here, for example, on Siberian char loach, a big char with 5 kilos. Then here again, Siberian char loach, again 5 kilos. A pike, which maybe you don't necessarily want, but again here the Siberian char loach on burbot, and again the Siberian char loach on the pike. So obviously again, the Siberian char loach or Siberian roach, and then it goes on here, again Siberian char loach, Siberian roach, lake minnow. And the only, or rather my target fish, is obviously here the dragon grayling. That would be absolutely awesome if you could catch that nicely targeted with bait fish. So far the only one, only on lake minnow, the smallest fish, and otherwise the lake minnow wasn't even that good either. Lake minnow. So here always on the really small lake minnows, again on the really small fish. Here once a Siberian char loach as well, but just again and again lake minnow on the smallest fish. The smallest bait fish though, of course. And that was the same for all fish. Always on a 4.0 hook. So on a really, really big hook. So far from the fish tested, I have to say, Siberian char loach way ahead, followed by the Siberian roach and the Siberian gudgeon. For me, an absolute disaster. So the investment there, really not worth it at all. So Siberian gudgeon, 100% only delivered perch, and Siberian char loach at least delivered a bit more. And I would say, I'll definitely get myself some more Siberian char loaches and keep testing. Even if now here, the lake minnow actually delivered my target fish. But I think the Siberian char loach still, simply on average, delivered the bigger fish. Where am I even standing? Where am I testing this whole thing? Or where did I test it? This is now up here, the position, and I cast it halfway, so roughly threw it into this area, about. And that's where basically the last hour, they were lying. This was just about an hour of testing, always nicely. Slightly higher frequency in the morning hours and in the evening hours. You could already notice a bit, but roughly everything here in this area, the setup looks like this. Sufficient line. Earlier I also tried a bit in the mainstream, but now here at this spot, 27 kilograms fluorocarbon, pretty pike safe. Of course not 100% pike safe. Big pikes can of course still bite through, but that was already relatively safe. And I think if you now know the Siberian char loach works quite well, and maybe you also take a bit more risk that maybe a pike comes and bites through the leader, then I would probably go roughly into the 15 kilogram fluorocarbon range. I think that's much more fitting for the target fish. However, despite everything, always use the 4.0 hook, because the smaller versions, if you think, okay, for the fish maybe a size 1 or 1.0 would be enough, the fish that go for these small hooks are even much smaller, so the hook size when baitfish fishing is in no proportion to the fish caught, so always go for arrow. These are these black ones. These are from the Adderman shop from Donnet, But of course, you don't have to use them. You can also simply use these here, Ultra LF Series 4.0. Those are also the strongest in the whole game. These ones here are just a bit cheaper, which means if you take a bit of the risk that maybe something gets bitten off, then maybe just use these. It's then maybe not so bad if one of them gets bitten off. I always have them in large or larger quantities in stock to test such things. Otherwise, I also used a slightly different sinker here. If you have problems with bait fish, with the casting distance when throwing, because you might already have reached the maximum casting weight because of the bait fish. A type of sinker that is very useful to get really far out is the flycast series. Because with these flycast sinkers, you can cast super far, even with a 14 giant sinker. You can get significantly further out than with maybe twice as heavy a sinker of another type. So that's really worthwhile, especially in combination with bait fish. You can do it really well. I even used the really heavy ones here. Just had to charge up to 50% and got really nicely far out with it. Yeah. Is something like that financially worth it for me? Of course, absolutely not. Because such tests are just there so that we all benefit from it. So it's just for checking, for understanding what's worth it, which fish like which bait fish. And accordingly, you just have to test. Also just spend the gold sometimes for such things and try what works best. As said, just based on the weight numbers, way ahead, definitely the Siberian charloach. So that seems to be worth it. What I haven't tested yet would be here, of course, the lamprey. Also, that would definitely be another option to test. Also, definitely a bait fish that you tend to buy with gold, because catching a lamprey is pretty much impossible. So it's super rare that you even catch one. Siberian charloaches, however, there are always spots here and there. Also up here in this area, for example, here you can always find spots where you can specifically fish for Siberian charloach. There are also already videos here on the channel. Just check them out and copy them. If of course you don't want to spend gold for it. Otherwise, this here, because of the gold investment, is already premium fishing. Well, because it just makes things easier. It's possible without gold investment. But then of course, it takes significantly longer. And if your cash picture looks like this, then it probably isn't worth it financially. But if you still have the possibility to maybe complete another trophy with a bait fish, then of course, it's worth it. And that was my idea. So the search for the special fish, and I just have to keep searching. If this helped you, leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, helps me a lot. And then we'll see each other in the next video, or maybe in a live stream. Until then, Patreon.